Hey everyone, have you ever hurt yourself with a knife? Done something stupid? Something you know you shouldn't have? Maybe you even just made an honest mistake because you didn't know. Well, this is the video for you. So go grab some band-aids, dig out the old first aid kit, maybe a sewing needle or two, because we're gonna jump right into knife mistakes. We all know we're here for the knives. And I would bet good money that you, like me, have done stupid things with knives now and then. Those who use knives as a daily tool, or even the avid collector, we get this false sense of security thinking that we're skilled experts. But the truth is, even skilled experts make mistakes. Today, we're going to be going over some of the most common mistakes that people make, some really dumb mistakes that people make with knives, and finally, some mistakes that you might not even think about because they don't involve using a knife. They play into knives in a different way. So, first with the common mistakes. All of these mistakes are mistakes that I've made on numerous occasions. And the first one of these mistakes is cutting towards yourself. We all feel we have a lot of control with a knife, and often when opening a box or a package, envelope, even cutting something that's a little bit tricky, we fall into this false sense of security that the knife isn't going to slip and come hurling towards us. But the truth is, you never really know. So it's always best to cut away from yourself. The next one is using the wrong type of knife for the job. Different knives have different purposes, and it's good to at least understand what some of these different knives are designed for, because if you're using the wrong tool for the job, you can end up cutting yourself, or even worse, seriously injuring yourself. You could also end up damaging or breaking the knife. So you want to understand different handle configurations, blade designs, all suit specific purposes. And you can go back and look at one of our videos in the past, and we talk about blade and knife design and give you a little insight into that. Then you want to avoid our third common mistake, misusing knives. Everyone misuses them. You end up going out and abusing a knife, using it as a pry bar, using it in ways that it was never intended to be used. It's always good to remember that knives are a cutting tool, not a prying tool, not a screwdriver, not some sort of digging tool. So you want to make sure you're always cutting. It's got a sharp edge, unlike tools used in many of those other tasks. This one can really hurt you if it slips. Another common knife mistake is don't loan out your knife. If you do, make sure it's someone you really trust. I know many of you have probably been in the same shoes that I have, where you loaned out a knife while you're doing work or whatnot, and it goes home with the person that you loaned it to. Sometimes for a short period of time and you get the knife back. Sometimes you never see it again. And if you own nice knives, that can be a real heartbreak, because guys, we get attached to our tools, and y'all know it. It really does happen. You end up with that favorite knife. Might not even be the highest quality of knife, but it is your go-to, and you don't want to lose it. So don't loan that knife out unless you really trust someone. Now for some dumb mistakes. Catching a falling knife. Never, under any circumstances, should you try and catch a falling knife. You don't know how it's going to move, how your hands are going to interact with it. You could end up seriously cutting or stabbing your hands. You could also end up bumping the knife on its path to the ground and sending it into your leg, your foot, or into someone else, God forbid. So just let it fall. Doesn't matter how nice the knife is. If it's on its way to the floor, just let it go. Step back out of the way. You can always pick it up. If the knife becomes damaged, sometimes there's things you can do about correcting that damage. Another dumb thing people do is show off their amazing knife skills while intoxicated. You know, that hold my beer moment. I got something cool to show you.
Watch this.
Well, never a good idea, because often you end up waving the knife around or trying to impress somebody and doing something really stupid you shouldn't be doing. And likely you're going to hurt yourself, or you're going to hurt someone else, or you might even end up throwing your knife accidentally, dropping it, causing damage to the knife, or even losing it. And we don't want to do that. So always try and be as sober as possible while using a knife. And if you are inebriated in any way and using a knife, don't show off. Just do what you need to do, focus, and get it done. Another stupid thing, and I've run into this a lot at different knife events and knife shows, people like to play Mumbly Peg. It's not as common now.
Filthy pirate.
But it used to be fairly common. Mumbly Peg, if you don't know what it is, it's that game where you put your hand down on a table and you're taking the knife and you're stabbing it into the table between each of your fingers. Very stupid. I would like to show you more accurately, but it's YouTube. Now, we have some of the more uncommon mistakes. These mistakes tend to lend themselves more to collectors and your more diehard enthusiasts. The first mistake is do your research. Don't go into acquiring a knife ill-informed. Either you need to make sure it's the right knife for the job you want to do. On a collector's side of it, you want to make sure that you have all the information you need to make sure you're going to be happy with that knife, because collector's knives, they can get to be quite pricey, and you don't want to throw your money away because you didn't do your homework. Don't spine whack your folding knife. A lot of people like to hold the knife in their hand and whack the spine of the blade against the table to show off how strong and tough the lock is. Well, in reality, this is just a good way to hurt yourself and damage your knife. What a lot of people don't realize is no matter how good your lock geometry is in there, the blade is the hardest material in that equation. Your stop pin, your lock face, and the holes that your pivot pin go through, the pivot pin itself, all of these are softer materials. And that shock to the spine of the blade can actually cause damage to these softer materials because of the hardness of the blade. And over time, it can create a little bit of slop in the action and the lock of your knife, and eventually lead to the lock failing. So don't make the mistake to show off how tough your new knife is by spine whacking it. It's just gonna hurt the knife in the long run and maybe hurt you. Another big thing with the collectors, don't make this mistake. Never buy a knife only for investment. Reason being is there's no real predictive qualities as to what knife is going to go up in value, what knife is going to tank in value. Some knives actually just hold their value throughout time. But those select few that go up in value and you see that appreciation for the knife, it's nice when that happens, but you can't always predict it. So make sure when you buy a knife that you actually like the knife and want the knife. It's okay to factor in the investment value of a knife, but you never want it to be the only reason, because you could get stuck with an expensive knife that you don't really care about, and by the time you figure out that you lost money or didn't make any money on it, it's not worth what you thought it would be, and it might even be difficult to regain your original investment. So always make sure you're happy with that knife and you're okay with keeping it if it doesn't do anything on value. The last thing to not make any mistakes on is caring for your knife, maintaining your knife. You want to make sure that you do everything properly and take care of it, sharpen it correctly. There's a lot of places here you can make mistakes, like improper storage in an area where there's too much humidity, or if you're using a knife in salt water and it's not designed for that, not cleaning your knife afterwards and rinsing it in fresh water could mean the next time you go to use that knife, you're going to see some big corrosion marks, rust marks, patina, a whole wide variety of changes that happen to your knife that you don't really want. With sharpening, you want to make sure that you're using the proper stones or a good system to sharpen it. Some knives can be sharpened on very simple Arkansas flat stones. Some require ceramic stones or Japanese water stones. And a lot of our newer knives are made out of really high-end wear-resistant steel, and these often require the use of diamonds. So you want to make sure that you're using the right stones. If you go after a knife that's made out of a state-of-the-art steel with an Arkansas stone, chances are you're just going to waste your time and ruin a stone. If you have a very budget-friendly knife that's using an older steel or a softer steel, and you go at it with diamonds, you can end up removing too much of the blade in your sharpening process, and you'll find that it becomes self-defeating. And now for the biggest mistake of them all. Don't forget to carry and use your favorite knife. No matter how pretty it is, knives are a tool, and we get the most enjoyment out of them when we're using them, carrying them, have the ability to show them off to our friends when we meet up in different public events. So always make sure that you carry your favorite knife or one of your favorites, because it's just a mistake when you don't have that little sharp buddy with you, because if you're anything like me, you're going to regret it when you're out in public and you need a knife and you find out you don't have one in your pocket. And speaking of our favorite knives, the Asgeir is currently on our website, legionsteelknives.com, on sale for pre-order at $205. This is the lowest price it has ever been. It is the lowest price it'll ever be. They are regularly $335, and they are on sale until midnight Pacific time, the 30th of September. So you don't want to miss out. After that, they are returning to their $335 price. So that is $130 savings that you don't want to miss. If you want an additional discount of $5, then you want to send an email to support@legionsteelknives.com with the phrase, "I want a free knife," and you will get an additional $5 off. But you also need to give us your Instagram handle and follow us on Instagram, because it's going to enter you into a contest to win a free customized Asgeir, where you will get to pick the customization options that you want done to your Asgeir. So if you want a free knife and an extra $5 off your order, then make sure that you enter this contest so that you don't miss out. Now, we're going to be at Blade Show West in Salt Lake City, Utah. And guess what? Marissa, my partner here at Legion Steel, is going to be flying out from Mississippi, and then we're going to be heading on up to Salt Lake City for the show. We're going to be filming up there. We're going to be meeting and greeting with people. So if you can be there at Salt Lake City Blade Show West, you might just get a chance to say hi. So if you see us wandering around, we'll be wearing some Legion Steel gear, and you can just stop us, chit chat, check out the final production version of the Asgeir, maybe get some goodies here and there, and just have a good time. Who knows? We might even put you in our Blade Show West video. So if you can make it to the show, if you're in the area or you have no issues with traveling up there to check out a really cool knife show, you just might see us there. I'm also excited to tell you that we have 2 new shirts, and you can get them right here in this video. Follow the links in the description box below. We have a really cool Viking shirt, and then we have our Sharp logo. So you're going to want to check those out. They're available in a couple of different colors, and of course, whatever size you need them in. And you might find some other gear in our store there. So make sure that you follow the links and check it out. All right, so as always, if you like what we do here at Legion Steel, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming content. Like the video, comment, Tell us one of your knife mistakes. We'd love to hear about it. We're going to be again at Blade Show West. Come meet us if you can. Don't miss out on this Asgeir sale or the opportunity to win a free customized Asgeir. And don't forget to check out the shirts, because you're never cooler unless you're sporting Legion Steel gear. As always, take care and stay sharp.